much. I can't believe that they could just say.
Ed Rendell, Tim Pawlenty, Sherrod Brown, Mel Martinez.
Paul Begala, Mike Murphy,
Heather Wilson, Senator Feinstein, Roy Blunt, Governor Granholm,
Rahm Emanuel, Marha Blackburn, Linda Douglas, Nancy Pfotenhauer, Michael Bloomberg,
Claire McCaskill, Joe Lieberman.
But these questions about Senator Obama are what public life is all about these days. I can tell you, Claire can tell you, anything you've ever done, anybody you've ever been with, will be a subject of public discussion.
William Ayers held a fundraiser for Barack Obama at his home in 1995.
If we're going to go down this road, when Barack Obama was 8 years old, somehow responsible for Bill Ayers, at 58, John McCain was associating with Charles Keating.
Barack Obama at the time was 8 or 9 years old or whatever, but that's not the point. The point is this same individual, Bill Ayers, hosted some sort of political event at his home for Barack Obama when Barack was running for state legislature in Illinois when he was well into his 30s.
But John McCain sat on the board of a very right-wing organization. It was the U.S. Council for World Freedom. It was chaired by a guy named John Singlaub, who wound up involved in the Iran-Contra scandal. It was affiliated with the World Anti-Communist League, the parent organization, which ADL said has increasingly become a gathering place, a forum, a point of contact for extremists, racists, and anti-Semites.
He has actually, he goes over to Germany and talks to the Germans about America and the need to tear down the walls between the United States and our European allies, as if it's all America's fault.
Will he denounce any efforts by independent groups that bring up Reverend Wright?
Well, you'd have to ask John that, but I can tell you that I was with him when he made that decision. He didn't like that approach.
I think it'd be very simple. John McCain can pick up the phone today and call Sarah Palin and say, don't say things like that. There's no place for that in this campaign. The American people don't want that.
Whether Sarah Palin can wink at everybody and try to charm them to death, I think that that's a question of style over substance. And at this point, people are tired of style.
If they have decided, as Joe Biden decided, that he was going to debate John McCain, and she decided she was going to give a stump speech to the American people, there's very little a moderator can do other than say, no, listen, I asked the question.
Michigan decision, had McCain had all the money in the world, he would have stayed in the state. He's down maybe 8 to 10 points there. But they had to make a financial decision because Florida, not only is Obama even now, it looks like he's pulled ahead a little.
One of the reasons on the Michigan front is because of all of the new registered voters who are coming in. The deadline for this is Monday.
Senator McCain kind of parachuted in. He said he was halting the campaign. He was not going to do the debate. He plunged in at a time of very sensitive negotiation. The negotiation fell apart at that moment.
I think he came back and changed the discussion.
The items you mentioned should never have been part of this bill. Had the House passed the bill on Monday, they wouldn't have been. And those who vote no bear responsibility for those additions being added to it.
Why Senator McCain was wrong.
Well, I think that for me individually and for my district, looking at that 11.315 trillion debt ceiling was something that was just too expensive.
The McCain campaign keeps saying that he's trying to raise taxes on small businesses. Only a tiny percentage of small businesses make $250,000 to be taxed.
Hundreds of thousands of them, almost 500,000 of them, according to the most recent IRS report.
The average American gets a tax cut.
I think it's going to be much less of a factor than anybody ever thought, because when the country's in trouble, and Americans now know for sure the country's in trouble, they look for the best man with the best ideas.
I believe once this campaign gets beyond that immediate crisis, that Florida's going to come back to the McCain camp. One thing I will mention to you, George, that's very important to consider. Barack Obama has spent almost $13 million on television ads in Florida. John McCain has barely spent a couple of million.
On all these major issues, there's such a sharp contrast between John McCain, who wants to continue the policies we've seen in the last 8 years, and Barack Obama, who has very different ideas of a very different direction.
There's nothing magical about any one candidate. The public's going to have a choice a year from this coming November, after I've gone through a lot of the tough economic times, to decide whether they want me or whether they want somebody else.
So, Bill, if Marha states the case, and she's going to explain to me afterwards what exogenous means.
Right. External.
Oh, okay. I keep thinking she's saying erogenous, and I keep thinking, what am I missing?
Doesn't she hit your exogenous zone? And you know what? You knew what I meant. She does mine. You knew exactly what I meant.
You talk too much.